Hello, everybody. Welcome to Resilience plus Rise, the podcast wherein we talk about how you can rise above from where you are. This podcast is based on my book that I've been talking time and again, Resilience plus Rise, 26.2 transformative miles to unleash your marathon of life mindset. Today's podcast is very important for me. So what I believe is that if there is a sense of importance within your own self, there's a sense of importance to others also. And that's the reason I've got it together. Today, I have two amazing humans who have agreed to come along and expound on something which I have been learning and working through and seen my own growth taking place. For the people who have been following my podcast, I had the privilege of talking to David C. Olcott, the founder of Swords and the writer of Swords of Illumination. Let me get that book over here. This is the book, Swords of Illumination, an amazing life transformational book. I don't want to do comparison to the monk who sold his Ferrari and the likes in that way. But there are times wherein few transformative books come in, whether we talk about Mel Robbins with the 5 second rule or Anthony Robbins Awaken the Giant Within. There is a reason why universe puts these nuggets to help the universe and we as humanity to move forward. What's happening currently is that swords of illumination have moved from just putting out their details on their website and what's to be done, etc. But David has created a coaching space based on his work of Swords of Illumination. Again, as I mentioned, it's a great honor having Matt Hepfinger, the head coach of North America, and Ryan Hartley, the head coach of Europe for Swords of Illumination, the course. And it's not just a fly by night operator. This is a 1 year intensive course, a 48 weeks course, wherein you're investing your life. I'm not saying you have to be over there 24/7, but as a runner, I know small steps makes a difference in a long
Mhm.
way. Look at me. I started with small steps and then I turned out to be an ultra marathoner. And here we are, opening the doors to something which is bigger. Matt and Ryan, welcome to Resilience plus Rise, the podcast.
Oh
Thank
man,
you
what a
so much.
pleasure to be here with you, Thomas. Thank you for that very kind introduction. A like-hearted brother for sure, and I know David sends his love and his gratitude for all the times that you've had him on the show, and just the way that you've introduced his work in the book. And yeah, just a kindred soul, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Thomas. Really appreciate being here and just love your energy so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So, one of the main elements, in fact, I will directly jump into Ryan over here. There's a reason why I'm talking to you, Ryan, is that because the cohort of Europe has already begun a while back. And through the website, we see a lot of success stories, people who have seen the difference. Before we can go into a little more about how the people are being transformed, tell me about yourself. How have you been transformed from being in this environment of swords of illumination?
Yeah, well, my story starts a bit like yours, Thomas, which is I interviewed David on my podcast. A mutual friend of ours, Travis, introduced me to David and referred me about this wonderful book, Swords of Illumination. And I love Travis, so I trusted his recommendation. And it's just not a book that, when you open for me, it's when I open those first pages and it just says, there's a sense of destiny about holding this book in your hand. I tend to believe those messages when they come my way. And so that sparked really a great conversation with David, and just I've been hosting my podcast for almost 10 years, and I've had a lot of conversations, and this was one of the most profound conversations I'd had at that time. And I just knew I wanted to pursue more. So that initial meeting sparked what's now a 2.5 year journey with Samurai Success, and learning from David firsthand. And as of the May the 4th, we launched Europe. So I've been given the privilege of being able to lead a cohort of Swords of Illumination myself. So I've gone on that journey in the book of Yoshi, and then becoming Daichi, the teacher. And
Teacher.
yeah, for sure. And I'm just really grateful for David to be able to trust me, and it's been an incredibly transformative experience, of which I'll share some experiences if you like. But that's how I came to be the head coach in Europe, is going on that journey with David myself over the last 2 years.
Okay. Matt. Well, guys, Matt has got a background as a chemical engineer, very comfortable in his job, on the journey, but at some point of time, there was a few curveballs, and that's when he realized there's something more to life. And here we are. We are talking about Samurai Success. Samurai Success is a bedrock of Swords of Illumination. It's basically the bedrock again as what makes a person successful. Success is a very relative term. Success can mean A to me, but it can mean B to you. But your own humanness, how you grow, that is your part of your success. So Matt, you are getting in Samurai Success, the Souls of Illumination, the courseware, into North America. What's your dreams about it? That more from the people who become a part of this cohort.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you. I honestly, I'm so excited just to share these modules, these tools, it's really it's a self journey. It's guided by a head coach, but it's a lot of internal work, and it's something that, my experience, being a chemical engineer, just a quick piece on how I wound up with David was there was a layoff. I'd been working with startups and things like that, and it was a lot of chaos, and just it was affecting myself, my family, how I showed up for my kids. I have two young sons that are 7 and 5. And it was really taking its toll on me mentally. And the universe offered me a gift, and they had huge layoffs. They were not doing well. I was only there for maybe 4 months, but it felt like years. And I just coming out of that, I remember walking in my car and I said, you know what? Only good things happen after a layoff. And I didn't know exactly what that meant, but I took some time, spent it with my family. And then my wife, she's always been my biggest cheerleader, and just, she knows me better than anybody. And she found a position with Samurai Success as a coach. And I didn't believe it at first. I was like, well, how am I going to get into coaching? I have all this engineering experience. I don't know. And she was like, babe, just trust and apply to this. And I did. And it was a longer interview process than some. And, it felt right. And then when I came on board, it was after probably a month or so of interviews, and it just became, all right, now you're going to be training. And I didn't know what that meant. And it turned out it was Swords of Illumination. And not realizing it at the time, how much that was something that I needed. And it really transforms the way that I approach life, the things that I'm not triggered by things anymore. You do a lot of inner shadow work, and it's difficult, but I really immersed myself in it for a year, in a way that, that having that skin in the game and knowing that, hey, this is really important. This is something that's going to change my life. And now being able to be on the other side of that and see, how situations arise and how I can move through them smoothly. And, with my kids and my friends and my wife, judgment is almost obsolete for me. It's not completely, but just the changes. It's more discernment and just active listening and just being present. And I think that presence is really the thing that I'm probably most excited about is helping people be who they are, truly discover, create who you are, and then live your life with that intention. And it just changes everything. Every minute can be a beautiful minute, and I don't want to lose those. And now I have this
Mm.
opportunity to share that with others, and I couldn't be more excited about it. It's hard to put into words when you're in it. I remember David told me, someday this is going to feel like a dream. You're not going to
Hmm.
remember really who you were or who you thought you were. And now I look back and 100% I'm in a much better place and I can just feel the excitement of how can I share this with others and help them on their journey as well.
So, guys, what you have just heard is a snippet of what Matt has been going through. So the question, I don't believe I need to ask that question, is that how do you believe people can be transformed? Because he has already mentioned few nuggets. A growth within your own self. I believe one of the biggest one, what the biggest takeaway was judgmental. How many of y'all can leave 5 minutes without being judgmental? Forget about others, but how many times are you
Mhm.
just judgmental about your own self?
Mm.
You may feel it's weird, but it's a different sense of being. Matt, again, the question which comes up is who are the people or what's the audience that you're targeting that would be successful once they become a part of this cohort?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me, it was really being that perpetual student. So I think people that might be feeling stuck, maybe they're feeling like maybe what they're doing could use maybe a shift. Maybe their whole self isn't into it, or maybe it's just a certain part of your life. You wish that, hey, you know what, I'm successful in these other areas, but what's the balance of it? What am I doing with family if I'm really successful with work? And a lot of sort of illumination is around the balance of your life and where you put your energy and, just kind of making a much more smooth circle for what to focus on. I think there's a lot of people that maybe they're wondering if there's more out there, or how do you really feel and really authentically experience your life, and not think about what's happening tomorrow or worrying about things that happened in the past, but instead really living right now with intention and having that vision of this is who I am. And I think that there's just so much power there because we're all given these gifts. I know it sounds cliche, but every day is a gift, and I see that in a different way now. And I'm not thinking about other things. I'm thinking about what action am I taking now, even if that's just being with my kids. It's a different experience, and I think there's a lot there for everyone, and then everyone will have their different balance things that they need to work on. But I think it's so powerful because it's kind of all encompassing. It's really just how you approach it, and if you're not feeling congruent with maybe what you're working on or how you're showing up for your friends or your family, whatever that might be, this can really help you hone in on who you are and how you show up in every situation.
Fantastic. And guys, I think so that gets it a little more clearer. There was a word which Matt had used about shadow work. For the people who are not aware about what shadow work is, it's basically when somebody tells you something and it might irritate you or it might ruffle your feathers or you might just say, why is that person? Or it may be that you're driving and somebody cuts you on the road. You get angry. A shadow work is that work wherein you go deeper within your own self and find out what is the reason why is that being triggered. And that trigger you converted it, something what we call it as gold recovery, wherein it becomes something that you can be. So if it's anger, what comes up is being more compassionate, being more open. So it is very much a life transformative way that we look through different materials of humanity itself. Ryan, I'm not leaving you at the side. Now we are roughly around 3 months into the course in Europe. If I can say the word, what's the vibe now that there are people in this particular cohort? from all over Europe and going through this process. What's your observance? And more than that, even I have been a trainer, I am a trainer, and I see that when I train somebody, it's not that they are learning. I too tend to learn
Mhm.
a little more every day in every way. What's your experiences on that?
Yeah, well, 3 months ago, people joined us because they're on a path of creating their identity and changing their destiny. That's a big part of what the book's all about, creating your
Hmm.
identity and changing your destiny. And there are very few ways to change your destiny through reprogramming your subconscious mind. And one of those methods is the I Am Studio, which David's probably talked to you about. And
Hmm.
so we're on a journey to the I Am Studio, but before we get there, we're really laying the groundwork, which is to do the healing work, to really make the connections between our programming and our actual life at the moment, so that we can see the connection between our life as it is now and the thoughts, the beliefs, the behaviors that are generating the life. Why do we do
Hmm.
that? So that we can see that it's already working. I liken Swords of Illumination to a modern mystery school. We for something that's very spiritual, it's actually very grounded in process and structure. And David spent 35 years as the great sage that he is, really just observing what works, how this process of transformation happens. And so, what Matt and I are really are stewards of a process that David has been pulling together for a very long time. So, it's no longer belief for David. He knows this stuff works, he's experienced it. And that's what we're getting to through our own. Isn't just a belief that this works, it's a knowingness, it's a feeling that this stuff works. There's a pathway, the hero's journey. There is a there is a predictable and proven path that souls would go on with the process that we take them through. So yeah, the first 3 months has been really just seeing that life is currently a printout of what I already believe, and where did some of those beliefs come from? What were some of the events that put those, founded those beliefs? And then really just doing some inner work, healing work to find freedom from the emotional charge of those events, so that we really do create the foundations for us to build our new identities going forward. Exciting times.
And so when you were telling about it, though I have been actively listening where people are transformed, I was just thinking about I'm in the process of learning to swim. So it is not just a feeling that, yes, I'm going to be a good swimmer. This is not just manifestation. I'm in the water, hitting my, playing my arms, moving my legs, at times learning how to breathe. It is a process. But in due course of time, the way I look at it, this becomes a part of you, like how the water becomes a part of you. So, guys, this is one thing which you got to keep in mind. There were two statements, in fact, which was mentioned. Write it down if possible. Your identity and changing a destiny. If I ask people who are listening to this conversation, what's your identity? Is it the nameplate outside your work office? Is it the house that you have? Is it the car that you drive? Is it the business that you have? What is your identity? So, what I just mentioned, those are all materials which can come today, go tomorrow. But your true identity, when have you paused to listen to that? Get into Summarize Success to know what your true identity is. And that comes with a bigger benefit. Changing your destiny, being prepared. We talk about being lucky. Lucky is when you're halfway already prepared for it. That is what happens. getting both these things. And guys, I will be putting out their website, Source of Illumination website, down in the comments below.
Thank you.
Just have a look onto it. See if there's something which knocks within your own self. This podcast is going world over. If you're in some part of the world which is not in Europe or in North America, send out a mail and find out, okay, this gets interesting. How can I be a part of it? I'm sure Ryan and Matt will devise a way to allow you to be a part of the journey.
100%. This is a worldwide program. It's just we say these things because that's when the time is probably suitable for those that are joined. But we know of committed people that are willing to get up early morning and get going with this work. So actually, if you bring the commitment, we'll absolutely meet you where you're at and take you on the journey for sure.
Fantastic. And Ryan, you just said the word commitment. This morning I woke up at around a little before 4:30 so that I could reach the ocean roughly around 6 o'clock to go for my swim,
Yeah,
cycling
come
all
on.
the way up till there. So it is a sense of commitment, what you're committed to. Matt, I believe we are having a cohort which is going to begin end of July, beginning of August. Can you say something more about that? The cohort, what you're looking forward to?
Yeah. So we have some showcase presentations that are happening over the next couple of weeks, and these are free for 30 minutes just to chat with David and I, learn a little bit more about the structure, learn about kind of the length of the program, the things that we're going to dig into. And I'm just really excited. I get to be a part of Ryan's UK cohort and see some of the growth and some of the transformation. It's still pretty early, but there's a lot of really great revelations that you'll have, because you're really just digging into yourself and you're not sharing all of it with the coaches. It's a guided program. So it's really great to see when people do want to share some of their growth or some of their breakthroughs, and sometimes just doing the work on their own and receiving some guidance from the head coach. But it's an exciting time to really see people that care deeply about their own personal development and their own mental health, and seeing some of these things touch them in ways that, you might not expect at first, because it seems, it's simple, but it's not. It's a deeply rooted, focused program that, as Ryan mentioned, David's been developing this for over 30 years and he's seen a lot of people. It was a one-on-one class for a long time program. And now being able to offer it to a group with a different dynamic is just really exciting to see that much transformation, like in a single cohort. So I'm just really excited to reach people that are ready for this and to work with them. It's a beautiful process that, being on the other end of it and now being able to share it with others, it's lovely. And I'm really excited to get that cohort going and see what people we can help.
We're having a lot of
Fantastic.
fun using School as well. I don't know if you've ever used
Hmm.
School as a community platform, but we're having a lot of fun using that and just seeing all the modules come together and just seeing how the community stay in touch with each other and go on this journey together and talk about their wins or their questions. Yeah, it's an incredible addition to the what you would call the one-to-one experience, the group. It really is pretty special. It's what I've done for many years, but being able to use School as well is really just bringing it to life in a different way. It's fantastic.
Super. Just be mindful of the time. Ryan and Matt, both of y'all, maybe starts with Ryan, is that if you would just give a couple of statements or couple of thoughts that defines summarize success.
Well, David has been very brave labeling his organization Samurai Success. So he has sought it necessary to have a definition of success. And for him, the difference between luck and success is that you can duplicate it. That's the single rule for success, is that you can duplicate it. And what we're finding with time after time after time with Swords of Illumination is when you apply the swords, when you apply the teachings, not when you just know them, you just get rote understanding. When you actually start to be guided to comprehend, understand, and then apply these teachings, that's where the transformation really happens. Matt and I's role really is to be guides so that the participants get to a point of applying what they already know. And that is where the transformation is. I had interviewed over 300 people before I'd interviewed David, and I have an incredible wealth of books to my side that you can't see out. If only I applied a tenth of what I knew, Thomas, then I would be a very, who knows where I'd be, right?
I know, I believe I know what you're talking about. It's the same story with me. Is that fantastic?
So that's the incredible opportunity with Swords of Illumination. My final point is I sat in my garden reading one chapter and I had tears in my eyes because I read a part of the book, and I don't know if you felt this too, Thomas, is where Yoshi is having nightmares about a particular event, and the teaching and the guidance he got is that his subconscious was presenting him a decision he would have to make. And the teaching is that we don't make decisions, we do decisions. And so anybody that's listening, I'd encourage them to, if anything's stirring in you within this conversation, do a decision. Head to that link, get yourself there, have an experience with David and Matt. And what David promises is by the end of that 30 minutes, you're going to know whether it's for you or whether it's not for you. He's not going to sell to you. He's going to give you all the information you need to make a quality decision about whether this is the place for your transformation or not.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much. And Matt, what's your final words on the conversation?
Honestly, just to build off what Ryan said, just follow your heart. If you feel that pull and there's some interest there, come and check it out. Like Ryan said, it might not be for everybody, but it's powerful. I just can't say it enough. My focus, my relationships, all the things, you dig down deep, and it takes a little bit of work, takes a lot of work, but it's so worth it. And you'll learn more about yourself and be who you really are. And I'm just really excited to share that with more people. And, as someone personally coaching, it's like, you don't want to be told what to do. This is really just giving you a structure, and it's in your hands, and that work is up to you. It's not, we're not going to be checking homework. We're not going to be doing it. It's really like you have skin in the game and we want you to grow. And I think that that's really the calling, is when you're ready to do the work and it feels right. This could very well be for you.
Great. Again, as coaches, we don't tell, we are just to guide. We are just to run along, like as a runner, when I'm coaching people for running, I run along with them. I don't run ahead. I don't run at the back. I run along with them and guide them. We show the different roads. The power is already there within you guys. So guys, again, check out the link below. Thank you so very much, Ryan and Matt. It's been a huge honor, a pleasure talking to you, and looking forward to what Swords of Illumination is going to explode into in the coming years.
Thank you so much, Thomas. And just on behalf of David, Samurai Success, the whole team, just thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your willingness to share with your community. You truly do want the best for your entire community. So great privilege and honor that you'd share us. So thank you so much again, Thomas.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.